everyone, and welcome to this third webinar, which is organized by Sample Assignment. We welcome you all, and let me please give you an introduction of Sample Assignment. At Sample Assignment, we provide one-on-one sessions with experts to our esteemed students. We provide resume and SOP writing help with your LinkedIn profile optimization, and assistance with your IELTS exam preparation. So, after conducting two very successful webinars on resume and SOP writing, we have organized this third webinar on IELTS exam preparation, which is being presented by a very esteemed and respected academic researcher, Miss Gurveen Bhatia. We welcome you to this webinar, and thank you so much for the time that you've taken out for our students. Just without taking much time, I would like to inform you that this session would last for the next 60 minutes, and 50 minutes would be explanation of the concepts by Miss Gurveen, and then it'll be followed by a 10-minute question and answer round. If you have a burning question in between, you can just raise your hand and it'll be addressed. So thank you so much again for being a part of this webinar. And Ms. Bhatia, you can please begin now. Ms. Bhatia, you are muted at the moment. Could I please request you to unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you so much, Aisha. Yes, good morning, everybody. I am Gurveen Bhatia. I'm an IELTS trainer. So I'll be guiding you and I'll let you know what IELTS is exactly all about. And today I'm going to tell you how to crack IELTS exam and what all is there in IELTS, the exam pattern and everything. So let's begin. What is IELTS? IELTS basically stands for International English Language Testing System. That is what IELTS is all about. And IELTS is the most dreaded exam in the world nowadays. Why? Because it is an English and communication test. IELTS is an exam that has to be cleared by you if you want to work abroad, that is, if you want to work overseas, or if you want to get admission in any particular university abroad. Now, IELTS is a particular exam that is accepted in 9,000 countries of the world and several other organizations and institutions all over the world. So it is really important. It is extremely dreaded because it is an English and communication test, which the Indian system mostly has, the Indian government and the Indian structure, the Indian education system has, forgot to focus on. So you don't need to worry. I'm going to tell you what is the exam pattern all about and what are the ways of cracking this exam. And in the end, I'll be giving you a bonus tip to crack this particular exam. So let me share something that I have prepared with you people. I'm going to share my screen and show you something. Okay. So today I'm going to tell you people what all comes in IELTS. What is the exam pattern of IELTS and what are the ways of cracking this particular exam? It is not that difficult as it seems. Now, when we talk about IELTS, as I told you, the full form of IELTS is International English Language Testing System. And many people pronounce this in a wrong way. It's not IELTS, it's IELTS. Okay. So when we talk about IELTS, there are two modules as far as IELTS is concerned. One is the IELTS academics module and the other is an IELTS general training module. Now, what is the IELTS general training module? IELTS general training module is a particular exam that has to be cleared by all those people who want to work abroad. And IELTS academics module is the one which has to be cleared by all the people who want to, you know, get admission in abroad universities or overseas universities. So the exam pattern of both these IELTS academics module and IELTS general training module is somewhat same only, but the only difference is that one writing and the reading modules are different for both these academics and general training. But the way we train the students, for both these modules is almost similar because the exam pattern is similar, but there are some differences of how the exam, how you have to get through the reading and the writing part. That's it. And always remember, there are no marks given in IELTS. There is always a score given in IELTS that ranges from 1 to 9. 1 is for, if you're not good enough, and 9 is the best score that you could get in IELTS. So that is how you get the marks in IELTS. There's no marking system. You get scores from 1 to 9. There are bands from 1 to 9. 1 is the least score, you can say, and 9 is the best. If you are best in English, then you get a 9 score. Okay. Now, what are the modules of IELTS test? This is something important. The exam pattern. What is it all about? There are 4 modules in IELTS tests. First is the listening module. The time limit for the test is 40 minutes, the listening section. Then we have the reading section. The time limit is 60 minutes. Then we have the writing section, which is of 60 minutes. And then we have the speaking section, which is for 15 minutes. Now, the 3 sections, listening, reading, and writing, are something that you can complete, in one sitting. But the speaking section is the one that you can give either after the sitting or before the sitting on any particular day. That does not go together, that does not go along with the reading, listening, and the writing section. The reading, listening, and writing section will be in one sitting, and speaking will be in another sitting. It may be either before this particular test or maybe some days after that particular test, and it goes on for 15 minutes. And the most dreaded section by the students is the speaking section only, because that is something that requires a lot of practice and confidence. Okay. Now, what is the listening section all about? Now, what all comes in listening section? In listening section, now, as I told you that for listening and for reading, the exam pattern is a bit different for the academic and general training module. Now, in the academic module, where you want to get admission in all the universities and all, the difference is that the section, the exam pattern is a bit analytical. But as far as this general training module is concerned, the listening section is based on daily conversations or daily routine and daily life. For example, what all comes in listening section in the general training module? You might be given a particular everyday conversation. A voice would be played. You have to carefully listen to what it is talking about, what they are telling you in the voice. It might be an everyday conversation. For example, two colleagues are talking to each other, right? It might be a one person speaking about an everyday situation. It might be any educational situation where a student is talking to a professor, or it might be any lecture or talk on a general topic. The topics may vary, it might be any particular topic. So, what you have to do is there are some important points that you need to keep in mind while you are attempting this listening section. Now, you have to ensure that you take care of the synonyms. Now, for example, a particular question is given that Ram was walking on foot. And the question, this is played in the voice, that Ram was walking by foot, right? Now, there are several options that are given over here. How was Ram walking? It is by foot, by car, by bike, or by road. So it is obvious that he would walk by road only. So you have to select that. So you have to be very, very careful when the voice is playing. You have to understand what they are talking about, and then only you'll be able to attempt the answer. For example, a particular a voice is played that my birthday falls on 4th July 2012. Oh, I'm sorry, my birthday falls on 30th July 2012. And the question played is that when does the narrator's birthday fall? So the answer was given in the end, 30th July 2012, because it said that, oh, I'm so sorry, the birthday was on 30th July 2012. So you have to be very attentive whenever a particular voice is played, because then only you'll be able to attempt the right answer. These are some tips that you need to remember. How does it come? It comes with practice. The more you listen, the better it will be for you people. Now, what is the reading section all about? Now, when we talk about the academic module, the passages come from books, they come from magazines, they come from newspapers. But when we talk about the general training modules, the passages might come from public notices, timetables, there might be advertisements, job descriptions, contracts, training material. There might be books, magazines, and newspapers from which the passages come. So a particular passage is come, a particular passage is given, you have to read and then you have to answer certain questions that are given. Now, there are some important points that you have to keep in mind while you are attempting this reading section, right? You don't have to read this entire passage thoroughly because, as I told you, that there is a time limit. It's mentioned over here that the time limit is 60 minutes. So if you go on reading this particular section for 1 hour continuously, then you'll miss on it, right? So you have to be fast. Some important tips are that you have to skim through that particular content. And then when a particular question is asked, then you may refer that particular paragraph to which it is relating to, and then you may answer that particular question. So when you take classes from me, I will prepare you how it has to be done. That is something that I will prepare you in detail, because 1 hour is too short time to prepare you and to describe you what IELTS exam is all about. It comes with practice. It comes with a lot of, mentoring. Fine. So now, for example, a particular passage is given from the newspaper, any particular passage, and like they may ask you certain questions. Like in school, we had the comprehension passages which were given in English, and then certain questions were put up out of that. So that is the same that is there in this reading section. So you have to be attentive. You have to read that particular section. Make sure that you skim through that particular section. Don't read it thoroughly, otherwise you will fall short of time. And then you have to read the question, and then in case if it is referring to something, you can relate to that particular paragraph, and you can simply copy down whatever has been given over there. Now, one thing is that your vocabulary needs to be strong over here. And how will your vocabulary improve? Your vocabulary will improve by referring the dictionary, by reading English newspapers. It is very, very important whenever you're preparing for these IELTS, to form certain good reading habits. You should have a habit of reading certain books on a daily basis, of reading the English newspaper on a daily basis. Because in case if you go through the English newspaper like Times of India or Economics Times on a daily basis, what will happen is that it improves your vocabulary. In case if you come across any difficult word, you may simply refer Google, or you may simply refer the dictionary, and you can get to know, right, what it is all about. So the more you practice, the better it will be for you people. And of course, grammar section also needs to be improved. You need to improve on your grammar also as far as this reading is concerned. So that will come with practice. That will come with a lot and lot of practice. Okay. Now the next is the writing section. Now there is a time limit that is assigned to every writing section. Now in the writing section, in the first task, you have, for as far as the academic module goes about, you have to describe a graph, a diagram, or a chart. You have to write on that. And in the general module, there is a letter, and you have to write that in response to a situation or a problem. A particular topic will be given to you, a particular situation will be given to you, and response to that you have to write down something. Okay. And in the task 2, you have to write a short essay in response to a problem or a situation or an argument. For example, the topic given is that a particular employee is being expelled by an organization. So you have to the employee has to write a letter to to the HR of that particular organization, of how to combat that particular problem or how to overcome that. So you simply have to write down an essay in response to that. So you need to work on your writing skills for that. Again, some important points that I would like to tell you, some pointers are that you need to read more newspapers, read more books in English. The more you read, the better it will be for you people. Then only you will be able to write. And the best way is to improve your vocabulary. And that will come with practice. That will come if you refer the English dictionary, if you refer Google for the, meaning of difficult words, and you need a mentor to guide you in that, and I'll be there to guide you in that. Okay. Then the last section that we have is the speaking section. Now, this is the most dreaded section by all the students. Now, there are some rules. As I told you, that the writing section, the reading section, and the listening section can be completed by you in one particular sitting only. But as far as your speaking section goes about, it might be on any one day, it might be either before your exam, before your sitting of the writing, reading, and listening section, or any particular day after that. So, speaking section is something that you cannot prepare for in advance. It is something that is spontaneous, right? So, you are there are three parts in the speaking section as well. The first part is general introduction. The second part is topic card. You will be given, in the second part, you will be given a topic card. You will be given 1 minute to prepare yourself, and then they will ask you to just speak on that particular topic. And the third part is discussion on part two. Now, how it goes is, first of all, any particular teacher or any particular person who is taking your this the speaking will ask you to just introduce yourself. Now, you have to keep in mind certain points in this. Whenever you are asked to introduce yourself, you have to ensure that you don't mug up and go there. The examiner will be able to point that out very clearly, and he will give you a 0 on 1 in the speaking band. So you have to keep in mind that you don't mug up, right? You have to be constructive enough to come up with on the spot answers. If he asks you to introduce yourself, if he asks you that what are your hobbies, then try to speak as much as you can. Don't limit yourself. Like, for example, if your hobby is playing badminton, so you will simply answer in detail that my hobby is playing badminton. I like playing badminton with my so and so friend, and since for how long have you been playing badminton with him? So you try to give a detailed answer whenever a particular speaking topic is given, or the person asks you to introduce yourself. You don't have to limit or restrict to one particular answer. And if you mug up a particular introduction and go over there, he will be able to spot that, and he will not give you good marks on that. Now, in the second part, what is given is a topic card, right? A particular topic is given to you. Then that particular person gives you 1 minute to prepare yourself, and then you have to speak. So now what are the tips that I give you people? Now during this 1 minute time, you could prepare certain pointers, right? You could prepare certain pointers, and then you might present yourselves on how to, you may prepare certain pointers of how you have to speak and all, what are the important points that you witness, right? And then you have to speak about it. Now, when you are speaking, you have to ensure that you are confident enough, and you have to come up with your own points and all. You don't have to, it should not appear that you've mugged up somewhere. It has to be your own construction. You need to be very, very constructive when you are speaking on a particular topic. And part 3 is discussion on part 2. Now, how do you have to go about? You always have to ensure that whenever any speaking topic is given to you, you start with an introduction, then you prepare a body, and then you give a conclusion, right? For example, if the topic given is describe a person you admire the most. For example, if this topic is given to you, then you will begin with an introduction that you will name that the person whom you admire the most. Then you will specify why do you admire him, why do you like him, and then you have to arrive at a good conclusion also in that particular topic, that what are the specific qualities that you like about him the most, and how does he stand aloof, how does he stand apart from the crowd. What is something specific or special about him that you admire him so much. That is how you have to go about with the speaking section. So you always have to remember that whenever you are introducing yourself, you don't mug up, right? Otherwise, the person who is assessing you will point that out immediately. So you have to be constructive enough. Now, what are the ways of improving your English so that you speak better in a good way? What are the ways of improving your spoken English? Well, I, apart from being an IELTS trainer, I'm also a spoken English and personality development trainer. So, what are the ways of improving your spoken English? Now, spoken English comes with practice. Spoken English is not something that can be learned, it can be acquired. It is not that I teach you something, you people just mug up, right? That ma'am taught us this particular thing, you mug up and you just present yourselves. It's something that comes with practice, something that can be acquired, right? Now, how can you improve your spoken English? The best way to improve your spoken English is by watching English news channels, English movies, and by watching English videos, right? So you get to know how it is all about, how you have to speak. Your grammar needs to be correct. You have to ensure that you, whenever you are framing a particular sentence, they are grammatically correct. You should know the difference, where we have to use has, where we have to use have. What is the difference between since and for? What are vowels? What are consonants? Where will we use a? Where will we use an? Where will we use the? You don't have to make these mistakes when you are speaking. Otherwise, the person who is taking your test will spot that this person is going wrong grammatically. So whenever I train my students in spoken English, it is a curriculum that I follow. Now there are three levels that I follow as far as the speaking is concerned, because speaking is something which is most important out of all these. So I follow a particular curriculum. So how I go about is that I follow three particular levels. One is the basic level, the other is intermediate level, and the other is advanced level. So of course, if you are appearing for the advanced, if you are appearing for this exam like IELTS, you need to go for the advanced level. So in the basic level, I go about grammar. I teach them what are the concepts, what are the, where do we use and the, has, have, right, since, what is the difference between since and for, what are nouns, pronouns, different parts of speech are taught, so that the students don't make errors while making sentences. Some students, they don't know how to put across the right preposition. Some students don't know how to work on their thought structure, right? So this is what I work on in the basic level. I work on their basic grammar in the level, in the basic curriculum of mine, where I teach them how to make sentences, and the aim is that you should be able to speak in English for at least 2 to 3 minutes at a stretch. In the speaking section of IELTS as well, they ask you to speak in English for 3 4 minutes at a stretch. You have to go on speaking continuously, and if you make grammatical errors in speaking, they will witness it. They will notice it. And in case if you don't speak well, your marking will fall. So, grammatically, your sentences have to be correct. That is why, in the basic curriculum, I take grammar with the students and I give them easy speaking topics. Then, in the intermediate level that I follow, the aim is to train the students to be able to speak in English for 15 minutes at a stretch. And I take debates with them, I take group discussions with them, I take role plays with them, so that they get to know how you have to make sentences, how you have to work on your thought structure, how you have to speak a lot, right? This is what I work on in the intermediate module. So I train them to speak in English fluently without a break for at least 15 minutes. Then comes the advanced level. Now, advanced level is something that is a bit difficult. The topics get difficult over there. I take debates, group discussions, role plays, newspaper reading with the students in the advanced level. But the thing is that in the advanced level, the aim is to enable you people to speak in English for 30 minutes. So the topics get difficult, like environmental conservation, the demerits of dowry system in India. I will give you random topics. I will give you a bit of preparation time, and then I will ask you people to speak a lot. And then I always keep a pen and paper handy, and I keep noting down the mistakes that the students of mine are making, and I let them know that here you went wrong, here you were right. That's good. Like this way, this is my way of training my students. So speaking section is the most dreaded, because I have been training the IELTS students, so I know that the most dreaded section is the speaking section only, because students need to work on their thought structure in the speaking section, and it's not that difficult. It comes with practice. Okay. Now, there are certain preparation strategies that I would like to give you people when we talk about the reading section, or it be the writing, or it be the speaking, or it be the listening, how will it improve? You have to work on your English and communication skills. So you should read as widely as possible, as I told you, people. Start reading English novels, start reading good English books, go through grammar books, start reading the English newspaper every day. Make it a habit to read the English newspaper every day, because it is through this only that your vocabulary will improve. In case if you come across difficult words, you may refer the Google, or you may refer the dictionary, right? Then you should write and evaluate yourself. Write down and evaluate yourself, that how that whether I'm going right or wrong, whether I you just need to improve yourself day by day, day by day, day by day. With practice it improves. Then the way to improve your listening is by listening to lectures, talks, English videos. Nowadays you get a lot of English videos on YouTube, right? There are podcasts, there are English videos, there are lectures, right? So you have to read, listen, and I told you to listen to English news channels and to watch English movies. They are also very good ways of improving your listening and, in fact, your speaking as well. The more you listen, the better it will be for you, because with listening only you'll be able to learn speaking, right? And then the ways of improving your speaking are talking to native English speakers. You can do that. You can talk to the native English speakers and you can improve your speaking, right? So this comes with practice only. It is not that in 1 day or 2 days your English will improve and you'll be able to, crack IELTS in one shot. If you want to ace this exam, it you need to practice a lot. It comes with practice, it comes with time, it comes with patience, right? You have to work hard on that. Now it's time for me to give the bonus tip to you people. I know that 1 hour is too less time to be able to describe how to crack IELTS, but the bonus tip that I give to you people is that you people don't have to be nervous. Whenever, if you people get nervous, in case if it's any particular situation of life, if you people are not confident, if you get nervous, then all your things don't go the way they are meant to be, right? So it is very, very important that you be confident. You don't have to be nervous. There are certain nowadays there are certain native English speakers that you get on Cambly. There are certain apps. There are certain apps also like Cambly and all. And of course, I'll be the mentor and I'll be there to train you people on that. So the more you practice all this, the better it will be for you people. But the tip is that you don't have to be nervous. You have to stay confident, right? You have to be very, very confident. You don't have to be nervous. And now there are some personality development tips that I would like to give you people when you are speaking. Now, it is very important when you are attempting the speaking module that you be confident. It is important for you to be confident. Now, what they notice is they notice your body language. They notice your gestures, they notice your demeanor, they notice everything about that. So it is very important that you dress appropriately when you're going to give that particular exam. It is important for you to dress appropriately. Then your hand gestures and your hand movements should be appropriate. Now there's some tips that I'm going to give you people out here. You don't have to stand with hands in your pocket. You don't have to do that. If you do that, it shows that you are not interested in what the other person is saying and that you are arrogant. Okay. The next thing is that you people don't have to keep your arms folded. You don't have to stand with folded arms. It also shows that you people are arrogant and you're not interested in what the other person is saying. Apart from that, it is important, the most important thing is that you have to maintain a proper eye contact. What is eye contact? You have to look into the eyes of the person with whom you are conversing. There are some students who look down, right? They don't look into the eyes of the person with whom you are conversing. So that is something not right at all, and your marks will fall. So you'll be marked appropriately. You'll be marked in that particular way. So when you go for the speaking session, it is they notice everything. They notice your body language, they notice how you are speaking, how you're making sentences. So body language, your demeanor, this is something very important. You have to look into the eyes of the person with whom you are interacting. This is how you have to go about this particular exam. Okay. So that's it from my side. These are the tips that I could give you people to crack your IELTS exam, and this is what IELTS exam is all about. Yes,
Thank you so
Swati.
much for this educative session, Miss Bhatia. I'd like to ask our audience, do we have any questions? If there are any questions, you can bring them forward.
Yes, any questions, anybody?
Hey, hi. Hi, Samriddhi.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to ask what all topics can be, distributed among the participants who will be going for the IELTS, and what all topics we have to be taken care of when we will be working on the sections.
The topics that you have to take care of.
Yeah,
Are you asking about the speaking topics or the listening and writing?
both.
Both. Now, see, I told you that as far as the reading exercise is concerned, you could get passages from newspapers, from books, right? From all these, you can get passages. You must have studied comprehensions in school in English. You must have done that. So
Yes.
it's like a comprehension passage that is given, and you are given comprehensions, and then you have to, answer by reading. Now, I told you that don't have to read the entire passage, otherwise, you'll fall short of time. You have to skim through the passage, and then you have to give your answers. Whenever a particular question is asked to you people, you would have skimmed through that particular passage. So, whenever you are answering a particular question, you could refer back to that particular paragraph and then see the answer and answer. So you have to be smart enough. Now, it could be any particular random topic that might be given. It might be from the newspaper, it might be from any English novel, it might be from any English book, it may be anything. And as far as speaking is concerned, speaking is the most dreaded, as I told you, because any random topic could be given when you talk about speaking. It could be describe anything, that thousands and lakhs of topics that could be given. So this will come with practice. You have to listen to English videos. You have to practice. You have to practice reading. Thousands. For example, if I have to give you a topic, I would say environmental conservation. Environmental conservation. How would you conserve the environment? Demerits of dowry system in India. It could be any topic like who is your favorite political leader and why.
More related to the social concepts, right?
It is not necessary. It might be any particular
Okay.
topic given to you people.
Okay.
Yes. So it will come with practice only, Samriddhi. It will come with practice. Now, see, I am a spoken English trainer as well. So I make my students practice. What I do is that I give them topics. And have you heard of an extempore? Have you
Yeah,
heard?
yeah, I
Yeah,
heard of.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard of.
Extempore is when a particular topic is given to you, and on this spot you have to come up with answers. Now they are giving you 1 minute preparation time
Yeah,
in the speaking module. So you just have to write down the main pointers in one. Now 1 minute is too short, right? Too short a time to prepare, but that is what you have to do. It is an extempore. You have to come up with answers on the spot. So what could you do is in that 1 minute time, you have to work on your thought structure, and you could just jot down the main pointers, and then you could answer. So that will come with
yeah,
practice. That will come with practice. I told you that the more you read, the more you listen, the better it will be for you. You need to work on your vocabulary. Now, it is my habit to take 5 vocabulary with the students every day. I work a lot on the vocabulary, so it comes with practice only. I told you now that when we talk about speaking, there is a curriculum that I follow. I take three, modules: the basic, intermediate, and advanced. In basic, I teach them grammar, right? The parts of speech. I teach them how to make sentences. The aim is to enable the students be able to speak in English for 2 to 3 minutes at a stretch, and that is what you've got to do in IELTS as well. They will ask you to speak in English continuously without any break for 3 to 4 minutes.
Thanks for that. And we have another participant in queue with a question.
Yes,
Budesh, sir, you can please keep forward your question.
yes, sir.
All right.
Budesh.
So my question is that I have seen a lot of students. Uh, I've seen a lot of students who are not able to clear the IELTS examination minimum requirements, uh, but they keep appearing for the test again and again. What advice would you
Hmm.
give them? Should they spend enough time before they appear for the next examination? Because obviously
Of
it comes at a
course, of
cost,
course.
and
Yes, of
and
course.
how much
Yes,
time
of
should they
course.
spend on participation, and when should they feel that they are ready to appear for the examination again?
Okay. So, in my opinion, it has to be a 6 months, practice that you have. At least 6 months you should give to practice. Now, this is not, see, English is something that, it comes with practice, right? English general and communication skills is something that you have to work on. As I told you, you have to practice reading, you have to practice speaking, you have to stand in front of the mirror and speak to yourself. You need to get that confidence, and this will come with practice. I think at least 6 months preparation time you people need when you are thinking of acing these IELTS exams. At least 6 months. And then I'm sure that in case if you've prepared well in these 6 months, you'll be able to, clear IELTS in one shot. I train my students that way.
Thank you for that. And Muskan Goyal has a question. So please, Muskan, go ahead.
I wanted to ask, can you refer few podcasts that is good for
Few,
improving your listening skills? Podcasts,
few
podcasts.
podcasts.
Yes, yes, for improving
Now,
the
I would.
listening skills.
There is a particular very famous news anchor. I'm not referring to any podcast. There is a very famous news anchor whom I admire a lot. That is Arnab Goswami. Arnab Goswami is a news anchor whom I admire a lot, and I go through his, uh, videos. I think the channel's name is Republic India. So there are a lot of
Yeah.
videos. There are a lot of videos of his that you will get on YouTube. So I think that you should listen. I myself have got to learn a lot from him. If you talk about Indian, I'm not talking about any foreigner. I'm talking about an Indian news reporter. Right? You could refer to his videos, and there is one more. The name of that person is not coming in my mind. He's a monk, the head of ISKCON. Uh, the name is not coming in my mind. Swati, do you know the name of that person, or Aisha? That he's a monk, and he's the head of ISKCON. He's
Guru
involved.
Gopal Das. Guru Gopal Das.
Yes, or Gopal Das. Right, right, right. So you could refer to his videos. Now, when I train my students, now I play those videos in between. I make it a point to play those videos also so that the students listen. So Gaur Gopal Das, yes, he is a very eminent, public speaker, and you, in the moment you start listening to what he is saying, you'll get to learn a lot. It will enhance your vocabulary as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Muskan. I believe Apurva Kapoor and Palak Bansal share a common question. Ms. Bhatia, they're wanting to know which websites are best if they want to practice for IELTS examination. So are there
Which
any particular websites through
website?
which they can, yes,
It
if there
is
are
it
some
is
study
Cambly.
material
It
available?
is Cambly, Cambly, Cambly. You could get a lot of help if you refer that particular site, Cambly. It is an app, I suppose.
And Niharika Pandey asks if there is a book available as well if they want to prepare for IELTS.
Books. You could get these books on, if you type in Google, you would get several sites that sell their books and all. But yeah, you can get the books from several sites and all. These books of files would be available on Amazon as well. On Amazon, and there are a lot of writers of several books of files. But the thing is that it will come with practice. For the speaking, you need to practice. For listening, you need to listen to videos, right? And for reading, you need to go through certain normal English books and novels. That is how you can improve.
I understand. Niharika, you can put forward your question, and Ms. Bhatia would be happy to address the same.
Ma'am, you can refer me to a good author as well.
A good author.
Author.
Okay. See, Niharika, the best way is if you want to read, start reading the English newspapers every day.
Ma'am, I find it sometimes grammatically mistake. So
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. The students make grammatical mistakes. So that for you want me to refer a grammar book to tell you a grammar book.
that I know. I follow Xavier's
It is Renan
Pinto.
Martin's. Yeah,
Yeah.
Renan Martin's book is the best for that.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, it will come with practice. For
Practice.
speaking, you need to practice. So if I, train my students, what I do is that I give them topics randomly. It's an extempo sort of a thing, and I ask them to speak, 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 and then I let them know where the people are making mistakes, and I improve on that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
I take grammar. I take grammar. As I told you that in my basic curriculum, I take grammar. I take all the 8 parts of speech, articles, everything. And then I give them easy speaking topics first. And then I ask them to speak for 2, 3 minutes continuously so that the students don't make grammatical mistakes. I teach them where we use has, where we use have, where we use and, the, all this. Because students make mistakes in that. What is the correct preposition that needs to be used? So it will come with practice, Niharika.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
So one
Yes,
of our
anybody else?
participants, Trisha Bharti, would like Ms. Bhatia to elaborate on the tips which you can give for the reading section. So if you could please help us with the same. I think she'd like you to explain more for how she can prepare for the reading section of the examination.
Okay. So in order to prepare for the reading section, I told you that a particular passage is given and like we had comprehensions, right? And then you have a set of questions, right? So in order to improve on your reading or in order to crack that, you need to skim through the text first. Skimming means you just need to have a look, like you don't need to read each and every word, each and every line in detail. You need to skim through the text and then start referring the questions. Come to the questions because you're falling short of time. A time limit is given. So you have to come to that particular question. Now, for example, if it might be any particular question, then you would get an idea of in which paragraph that question is located. You have to keep in mind one thing that whenever you are answering any particular question, you don't have to just copy the entire, sentence as it is from that particular passage. Otherwise, he will spot that you were just mugging up and writing down. It has to be constructive. You have to come up with a bit. You may change it here and there, right? The points have to be the same, but you may change it here and there. That is what you could go about. So refer when you read a particular question, just refer to that paragraph, understand what it is all about, and then give the answer in your own words. That is what you could do.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
Simran Kaur has raised her hand. Simran, you can please keep forward your question.
Hi, first of all, thank you for the insightful session. So, I have two questions. One would definitely be, are there any do's and don'ts while we are speaking in terms of how these are the words that should not be used in the speaking section in IELTS? And my second question would be, what's the major difference between IELTS and TOEFL? Because both of them are English proficiency exams, I believe.
Okay, some do's and don'ts. See, your sentences have to, Simran, your sentences have to be grammatically correct. That is what I'm telling you. It is not that some don'ts. Like now, whenever you are introducing yourself, there's some students, I have myself seen, some students start with myself. For example, if I am introducing myself, right, the speaker just tells me, the person who's taking my test just tells me that Gurveen Bhatia, introduce yourself, just go on. There's some students who say, sir, myself, Gurveen Bhatia, I am a spoken English trainer, right? So you never start with myself, that is wrong. You don't have to start with myself, that is wrong. So your sentences have to be grammatically correct. Now, how you, where will you use to, there are no do's, no don'ts. Your sentences have to be grammatically correct. Some students say, like, there is one important, one a very different example that I'm giving you. Some people say, I went to Spain by a train. It is in a train. With four wheelers or more than four wheelers, the preposition used is always in, it is never by. So he will spot that you're getting wrong here. So I teach the rules of prepositions, the rules of grammar. That is what I do with my students. Or you have to read the grammar books and all. Your concepts need to be clear of grammar. Unless and until your grammar concepts are not strong, your sentences will never be correct. Where you used to, where you have to use where you used to have an. For example, some students say he is a honest boy, but why? That is wrong. If you say a honest, that is wrong. It is an honest, because honest is starting with a vowel. So your sentences need to be grammatically correct. And you asked me the difference between TOEFL and IELTS. Yes, IELTS is the main exam that is accept for different countries. You have, I think, different. I'm not very sure about TOEFL's exam because I am an IELTS trainer, so I have never taken TOEFL's. But I think that the difference would be of the countries and all. I'm not aware of the TOEFL's exam. I don't train students on that.
Thank you for addressing that question, wherein you explained us how IELTS and TOEFL might be different from each other. A participant wants to know, Ms. Bhatia, I'll just read out their question. I'm applying for masters in Canada. My college accepts both IELTS and Duolingo score. Which one is easier to crack in 1 month's prep?
1 month's preparation. In 1 month's
Well, we'll
preparation,
try to address that. Yeah.
1 month is too short time, I suppose. You need to give at least 5 to 6 months if you want to crack IELTS, because it comes with practice. I think IELTS is not that difficult. If students dread that exam, it is not that difficult. If your English and communication skills are good enough, you can go for it. I would just like to say that you should go for IELTS.
And Archit, one of our past participants, wants to know if he's able to crack the exam within 3 months' time if he starts his prep today.
If he starts its preparation today, okay. So if you start preparing today, then when is your next IELTS exam? What is the date?
So he thinks that he wants to attempt the exam in the next 3 months. So
Okay.
would it be enough time for him to
Yes,
prepare
you
for
can
this
go.
exam?
You can go for it in case if you'll have to work hard. You just have to work hard, because I believe that 5 months time is something that is required if you want to ace the IELTS exam. But in case if you want to go in for cracking this exam in 3 months' time, you'll have to work hard. You'll have to give it more time, right? It's that simple. You can ace. You can give it. You can definitely uh, give it 3 months time and ace the exam. You will be able to do it in 3 months.
Thank you for that. Budesh sir has raised his hand again. Sir, you can please keep forward your question.
Thank you. Uh, so my question One is that TOEFL, yes, you're right, Gulbin, it's mostly used in UK, and I'm sure it's used in other countries as well. So different countries have different testing systems. TOEFL is another very prominent name, and it's definitely used in the UK when people want to go and both for working as well as for studies. And my question to you is that when a student is actually trying to practice his speaking skills, let's say he's in front of the mirror and he's speaking to himself, wherein he's trying to master the skills of speaking, which would be required in the IELTS test as well. If he's making mistakes, how would he correct himself? Because he'll not know whether he's right or not. So what recommendation can you give to him? Because obviously if he's alone and he doesn't know whether he's saying the right thing or not, so how can he correct himself?
That is why I am here. So I am the mentor and I do that with the students. I ask the students to prepare on a particular topic and they let me know. They speak in front of me, right? And I point out the mistakes that they are making. And if you are asking that in case if that person is alone and speaking in front of the mirror, see, speaking in front of the mirror is something that gives you confidence. You feel that a person is there in front of you. If you're speaking in front of the mirror, it gives you confidence. Some people are not confident enough to put things across. For that, it is important to stand in front of the mirror and speak. Nobody would point out where you're going wrong. It will give you confidence if you do that. For that, I am there. See, I train my students. I am a spoken English trainer. I've been training students on spoken English since a long time. So I give them random topics. I ask them to come at the podium, or in case if it is an online platform, I ask them to speak, and speak. I keep a pen and paper handy and I keep jotting down the mistakes that the students are making. And I tell them that here you went wrong, here you went right. These are the rules. That is how I go about. Standing in front of the mirror and speaking is recommended to those students who are not confident enough to speak in front of the public. You've got that podium fear. You've got that fear of public speaking. It is important for them to stand in front of the mirror and speak. I told you people that half an hour or 1 hour is too less a time because you need a mentor for that who could, work on your these things. Is that okay, Budhesh? Hello, Budhesh, is that
We'll
fine?
take that as a yes. Thank you, ma'am, for answering that query of Mr. Budesh. And we've actually got a lot of questions coming in, just hoping that we can address all of them within 5 minutes time frame. And Sameer Saxena, one of our participants, would like to know what is the percentage of marks allotted to each section. I think we should discuss about that. Miss Patia, please, if you can help us out with this.
I told you people that there is no marking system in IELTS. You get bands, you get ranks. It's bands 1 to 9. There is no marking system. There's no percentage. There are bands in IELTS. You're marked accordingly from 1 to 9. 1 is the low band or low mark, low marking, and 9 is the highest. In case if your communication and English skills are the best of all, you will get a 9. It's marked from 1 to 9. They mark you from 1 to 9. Yes.
I understand. Thank you. Adele Hansley, one of our participants, would like you to elaborate a little more on how she can improve her writing skills for the writing section of the exam. If
To
you can
improve your
provide us with more tips.
to improve your writing skills, you need to read a lot. The more you read, the better it will be for you. Start reading books, start reading newspapers, start reading novels, and start practicing reading. You need to improve your speed, and that will come with practice. If you're writing, you need to improve your speed. There are some students who are unable to write fast, so you need to work on that. You need to write, you need to practice writing, and if you want to write correctly, then it is important that you read more. The more you read, the better it will be for you. That is why I told you that reading and listening is the key of all, of speaking also and of writing also. See, it comes with practice, as I told you people. Yes.
Any more questions from the audience? If anyone has a query, uh, you're very welcome to raise your hand or put your question in the chat box. We've got a couple of minutes left in this session. Ranvijay Singh, one of our participants, would like to know. I'll just repeat his question. How many times do I hear the recording? And will there be an example at the beginning? I believe he's referring to the listening section.
Yeah, listening section, you can listen to it as many times you need, but there is a time limit. There is a time limit of a particular listening section. I think the time limit is 40 minutes. I mentioned that there in the slides. So you can read it as many times as you want, but there are a lot of questions that you have to attempt. There are a lot of questions that you have to attempt, so you have to plan yourself accordingly. You can read it at as many times as you want, but there is a time limit, and there would be different questions come. Like some are like in the writing section and in the reading section, there are different set of questions like match the following. The pattern differs every time. Some are match the following, some are identify the right one. Choices are given, you have to mark the correct. Some are match the following. The pattern differs. But in listening, you can play the video as many times you can. But there are a lot of set of questions that you have to answer, so you have to take care of the time. Yes, anybody else?
I would just like to ask Ms. Bhatia if there are any more tips, anything that you can. It was a really insightful session, and if there's anything else that you'd like to inform us before the session ends.
Yes, I would just like to tell you that I have mentioned in all the slides, when I was taking the slides, I mentioned the tips to crack these particular exams. So I told you people how you can work on each particular section. That will be with practice, and I would be there to guide you people in this particular process. And the bonus tip that I gave you people is confidence. You don't have to be nervous. If you are nervous while speaking or while attempting the exam, the examiner will be able to point that out, and you would not get a good score. You would not get a good rank in the band. So it is important for you to be confident all the time. You don't have to be nervous, and it will come with practice. The more you read, the more you listen videos, the more you practice vocab, spend time listening to videos of the motivational speakers, public speakers. Start talking to your if you want to talk to native English speakers, the app is Cambly. You can refer that app, and I am the mentor, so I have been training students to ace the IELTS exam, so I'm there to help you out on that. That's it.
Thank you very much. And to all our students and our participants who have taken the time out to be a part of this webinar, I'd just like to say that if you'd like to know more about the services sample assignment provides, or if you'd like to get help with your IELTS exam preparation, you're most welcome to write to us at help@sampleassignment.com. I've mentioned our email ID in the chat box, and also you could visit our website sampleassignment.com and visit our value added services page. I'll just share the link with you. Thank you very much everyone for being a part of this session. Thank you very much, Ms. Bhatia, for your precious time,
You're welcome,
and
Aisha.
thank you very much. We'll just end